Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Age of the Primes Leader Class Megatronus Prime, aka The Fallen, and he is a cool figure. He's probably the rarest Age of the Primes figure at this point. For some reason, if you look anywhere online, he's typically more expensive than the typical Leader Class, because he's a sought-after figure. Like, he is really sought after. And honestly, I don't blame it. This guy's really good. I mean, there's a lot to love here with this figure. For one, the design, it just really appeals to me. He's just a big, chunky robot. He's very square, but he's built like a brick wall. He's like bulky Turn. That's the way I want to put it, is he's like Turn if Turn went to the gym. That's how we're going to do it. The backpack, there's barely a backpack. There's a bit of one. If you remove the weapons here, you can kind of see it clearer, but it's a nice backpack. It's not one of those messy backpacks. It's a very clean backpack. The main complaint I have with the figure is these little gaps on the arms here for some reason. On the right arm, not an issue, because obviously it's covered by the cannon. On the left arm, bit of an issue. The overall design looks great with the metallic purples, the black, and the bit of charcoal kind of coloring going on. He just looks phenomenal, and we don't even have one of his better accessories applied yet either, which is his fire effects. Yes, he has these fire effects which go on him in various spots up here on the shoulders. There's some ports. You just put those on there. And then the cooler of the fire effects is his shoulder fire effects, which just plug in to the ports on the shoulders, like so. And you get that look, which makes him look, in my opinion, 10 times cooler than if he didn't have the fire effects. I love them. I think they look great. I have heard about them melting the plastic, though, of the figure, so he's probably not going to keep them on, but they'll be close by. Don't worry. And you can put them in various spots, obviously. You can also put them on the arm if you'd like. But they're meant for the shoulders. And the smaller ones are obviously meant for the up top. But you could technically get these to work along with his cannon, as they can plug in there, which is pretty nice. Other accessories obviously include the cannon itself, which is pretty cool. If you want, it is more of a transformation thing, but you can extend it if you choose. You could actually go for the whole Seeker arm thing if you'd like, which is the plug it on the shoulder method. Me personally, I don't like that. Never really have, even for the Seekers. Get this big boom cannon there. Like I said, just folds up pretty easily. No issues there. He then has this smaller sword, which he can hold, open up the hand, and unlike the Megatron that we reviewed recently, these go in the hand pretty easy, like really easy. Like, I don't feel like it's gonna break the thumb. Like, there's a bit of a like friction to it, but it's not like, you know, oh, he's gonna lose it. Because if this was a loose fit, it'd still be fine, because as long as this front hand's closed, it won't fall out, because there's a stop on the bottom of it. So that's good. And then on the back side, we then have this little staff, which I'm going to lay him down and put in his hand, which is cool. I mean, it's nice. It has this little rubbery tip on it, which I think is his prime artifact. Because I've all had these little prime artifact thingies. Mine has a bit of a silver paint mishap going on, or maybe not silver, but a purple. I don't know which one it would be. I don't know which is the original color here. But it's still cool. And then, if you want, you can also attach the sword to the bottom of it to make a giant staff, which is cool. Yeah, the staff's pretty intimidating comparatively, honestly. I think the staff's way cooler. And his other part, which is technically just parts forming, is this barrel here. There's not really anywhere you can put it. You could stick it on the back of the shoulder if you want, but realistically speaking, you're just not going to get anything done with it. I might leave it there, actually, because it doesn't really interrupt the design on the back of the shoulder. It's just kind of there. It just has a gun barrel. Kind of makes it look like the weapon splits the tank turret. It doesn't, but hey. But that is basically that. So let's get to the articulation, which is all right. Ball joint in the head, forward and back, outward. A rotation at the elbow, or the bicep. Elbow joint is a little beyond 90. Ball jointed wrist, open and close hand. Rotation at the waist for forward and back. At the hips, outward. He does have these little side skirt thingies, which do want to pop off. He has a thigh swivel, but also has a knee swivel due to the transformation. A knee joint, which goes pretty well, just 90. His ankle tilt goes pretty crazy, and he does have forward and back at the foot. So every bit of articulation is there. There's really not a lot wrong here as far as the articulation is concerned, or the look. This guy just looks phenomenal. There's not anything really wrong. Like, there's nothing I can pick out. I said, the backpack, unreasonably clean, if I'm being honest. Like, this is an insanely clean backpack. There's nothing going on here that's completely wrong. He just looks like one of the more evil characters I think Transformers could have produced. He looks like bulky Tarn, and that's how I'm going to put it. I know he's a lot more powerful than Tarn, though. But, hey, they're both evil guys. But that is essentially him, so let's get to that transformation, which is pretty easy. So the first thing you're going to do is remove the cannon, and then do that step I showed earlier with the pulling it open and folding it forward like that. From there, come to the hands and open them up. At the forearm, don't lock it. Mine do not like to open at all, so I don't bother to lock them. I just kind of rest them there like that, and then I leave it. After that, come to the torso, fold this part up, and then that will unlock the chest, like so. You're also going to want to remove this part. We're just going to bring the cannon back because you kind of know where this barrel's going. You really do. Just right on there to form the tank cannon. And now we're getting into this stuff. So for the chest piece here, take it, kind of splay it around, and then rotate it, like so. You're then going to come into the chest here. Make sure that you fold the treads out. Once the treads are folded out, fold around the backpack sections here like that, as they're like little tread coverings. Rotate the waist around, rotate his legs around, like so. Make sure they're straightened out. And then take this purple piece, fold it down. This was a part I was missing pretty early on when I got him. I could not figure out what that was for. You just fold it down. And then you're going to fold this up like so. Fold that forward. And then that'll go there. The front treads will lock in to the parts of the chest piece like that. For these parts, fold them out. And then at the leg. Now this is a Siege Megatron-esque step where you have to bend those parts. Take the little side skirts, they go into the thighs. The thighs also lock in right there. No issue. You're then going to come around to the back of the figure here and fold out these little gunmetal-y panels, or the charcoal-esque thing. Open up the treads at the back of the legs. Fold the feet in. Take this and then make sure that the panels here go over the top and they combine on to that purple thing. The arms will then fold back and tab into that paneling that was just made there. You're then going to take the arm and you're going to rotate the arms around. So make sure that the hand section where you open is pointing upward. Come to the back, fold these around, fold down the missile pod, take your cannon here, and that plugs in to a port on the shoulders towards the back of the tank mode. And I don't believe there is anywhere else to tab in, and that is essentially it. Other than a couple untabbed things here, this is Megatronus's alternate form, which is a giant tank. It's a tank. I mean, I think everybody knew it was a tank when they seen it. I don't know what's going on with this here. Wasn't in there good enough, and the barrel kept flopping. But yeah, it's a tank. I couldn't have, you know, said, oh, it's gonna be anything else. It's a tank. Everyone knew it. He's just a big old tank guy, and I think he looks sick in this form. I mean, it's a cool tank. It's a little different. The transformation's pretty fun to get there, so I mean, that's not bad. But as far as the little flame parts go, because we should mention them, they do work in this form. So if you do want them, you just simply peg them on to the wrist ports here. Like so. And they go up there. And then as far as the little tiny ones go, you get the weapon in here, the combined variation of it. You can combine them on like that. And then towards the back here, this will tab in. There's a slot on the foot for the rubbery bit. And yep, that's essentially how you do the fire effects and the weapon storage. It's fine, you know, it's a tank. I mean, it's just a tank. Which, it's cool, don't get me wrong, I like my tanks, but, you know, I don't think he would have turned into anything else, really, other than this tank. And he still looks pretty cool with the tank mode, so nothing really wrong there. But as far as it goes, that's it for the alt form, and that's really particularly it for Megatronus. So let's get to the final thoughts here on him. As far as he goes, I think he's a good figure. I don't have very many issues with him at all. Like, genuinely, I know I've been saying it a lot lately, but it's because I keep getting leaders and commander class transformers, which typically are not super flawed at this point in time. They're not very flawed. They've basically been nailing them out of the park with the leader classes and just the larger figures. The worst Transformers in recent memory to me are typically the deluxe class. Now, I know there's that one wave from Legacy United with Vector Prime and Cybertron Hotshot and all them. I actually don't mind my Vector Prime. I've seen a lot about that figure kind of being bad. I was like, huh? And then I found out that apparently it's blind luck with that thing, and that you could get a very bad one. I got a good one, so I lucked out. But essentially, though, this figure is great, and it's no wonder he is sold out anywhere you look. He's not an easy figure to come by. He's the only one I haven't seen in person in a store. And as I mentioned, I didn't get this guy from Amazon. I had to get him elsewhere. And I didn't even get him from my typical online retail source either for figures like this. I got him from TF Toys, who had him at $84.99, which is a little more than retail, but was still less than the other two guys I usually go with, which being Toy Snowman or CMD Store. CMD Store had him for $94. He sold as I was going to buy him. Slightly dodged a bullet, saved a bit of money, but, you know. But as far as it goes with him, just great. Is he worth the extra price of admission? I honestly think he is. Because he feels like a leader. He's hefty. He has some heft to him. He doesn't have that kind of lightness that some of them have. He just feels right to me. He doesn't feel wrong. He feels beefy. He feels like he's worth it. The accessories are pretty solid. I mean, honestly, I don't think you can go wrong with him. If he's one on your list, then yeah, you're probably going to want to get him. Because like I said, it seems like he's in turn category where he was the one that just instantly sold out and they just never got him back. Like Amazon has not had him in forever. A lot of places just don't seem to have him, and he's just a hot commodity figure. And I mean, I understand why. He's just a cool guy. But that is essentially it for this review. Again, 5 out of 5. Could have seen that coming. But this has been Eilt Elite signing out.